Hey guys, a lot of people are doing top 10 of 2022 Marvel Legends figures, and I wanted to throw my hat in the ring as well. So I've got 10 figures for you today. Hopefully some of these will be a surprise, but others will probably be a little bit more obvious. So stick around and we'll get right into it. All right, in the number 10 spot, I have the Bombastic Bag-Man. If you don't already know, then this is from a storyline where Peter loses the costume. I forget the exact reason why he does, but he goes to the Baxter building since he's close by and asks for some help. So they give him a spare Fantastic Four outfit, but because they don't wear masks, he has to wear a bag. This is a super fun one for me, so this is more nostalgia than anything else. I learned about this in the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game. I believe this is one of the alternate costumes, and I just thought it was just super funny ever since then. The body itself is the exact same body mold other than the feet of Mr. Fantastic, but what's great is the head. It's this super unique mold that is obviously only gonna work for this one very particular figure. Although if there's another character that you can think of that I don't know about that this can work for, then definitely let me know. But otherwise, this is really just a kind of a one-off thing that they're able to do. And then of course bare feet. Then the other fun accessory is of course the kick me sign. And what's great is that this can work with almost any figure that has the peg hole in the back, because it just slips right into there, and that's it. Number 9, I have another Spider-Man. This is a Japanese Spider-Man or Spider-Man, depending on your familiarity with him. And this is actually not Peter Parker. This is actually a Japanese person, and it's a whole different origin than the regular Peter Parker that we all know and love. And this is an official creation of Japan. It was approved by Stan Lee. This one is fun for me because I am a very big fan of Power Rangers and Super Sentai and Kamen Rider and all of those things. So this is super fun for me to see. What's also really cool is that because of Spider-Man, Power Rangers has the giant robots. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the giant robots in the show. And so this one has a very strong likeness to the original character. What's cool is this brace, which is his transformation device. And so there you can actually see that it even says Spider-Man on his brace, like it does in the show. In my number 8 spot, I have an MCU figure, and it is King Valkyrie. This one might be kind of random for a lot of people, but I really love this figure. And the reason is not just because of its accuracy, which Hasbro has been doing an amazing job with having very highly accurate figures for their MCU characters, but also the level of detail that they go with it. And I don't just mean the accuracy of the detail, I mean the specific actual detail of the figure. So let's take a look at the symbol on her chest and just look at how detailed that really is. All the lines, the individual lines that you can pick up really easily. And then moving down, the lines here, right, and it's painted, and just all that really small detail. And I think that's just so cool, and just makes a huge difference to a figure. Because most comic figures are, usually because they're wearing skin tight clothing, so it's just flat costumes, but not here. And then just that hair is just so impressive, because what you have to consider is that they're molding this thing, right? So they have to get every last little thing just right to pull off the look, and every single braid is there, at least on the top side. And I think that's great. That's just so cool. And then of course their face scanning technology is just incredible. Back in the day they just had sculptors doing the faces, but now they're able to just scan actors' faces and print them out like that. The other thing that I really appreciate about this character and the female characters that they're doing now are the bicep swivel. I think it's nice, it's great. It was really needed. Comic book characters are supposed to be physically strong, powerful, and having the ability to show and have a bicep, and one that even swivels, I think goes a long way in that. Only downside I would say is that this knife here doesn't actually come out, but otherwise I think this is a great figure. Number 7, we have the Iron Spider. This one I've been waiting on for a while. I was pretty close to just trying to get the Toy Biz one, but I was able to wait out and got it. And it's great. I think Hasbro did a really good job. I know there were people that weren't super happy with the way that the Waldo arms came out, but I would say, I mean, considering that this, you know, these are generally $20, $30 figures, that this looks really good for what it is. What I really appreciate about this figure is that the spider on the chest is molded in. It's not just painted. And I think that goes a long way with collectors just because it gives so much detail to the figure, especially now that so many people are really into toy photography. Fairly unique head. I think maybe we have that on one other Spider-Man figure, but the Waldos themselves are unique to the Iron Spider. No hate to the MCU version, but I prefer the comic one for the Iron Spider costume. And don't worry, this is the last Spider-Man figure in this lineup. At number 6, we have Cyclops. And this one specifically has the cell shading removed. If you haven't seen my video, please check that one out over here. I do like the cell shading, don't get me wrong, but the reason why this is on the list is because the Cyclops badly needed an updated body. And they did a phenomenal job. And they used Morph clearly as their test base because of the molded in bands that are on the thighs and on the calves. And then they molded in the straps on the torso as well. And it looks great. They no longer move around, so it is perfect for posing. And the body mold that they use too is better. It's bigger than the original Cyclops of this design of this costume. And he looks better with the bulkier body. And he was just kind of hard to get, so I'm really glad that Hasbro released this version so that a lot of new collectors are able to get him at a reasonable price. At number 5, we have the God of Symbiotes, Knull. This one is just so cool to me, not just because I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man and Venom, but because of how unique and new this mold is. We don't have anything on here that is on any other character or is something that I can see coming for a future character. Armor, the legs, the skirt, everything is fairly unique, and I think it's awesome. I think it's a very, very good, very strong representation of the original design from the comic book as well. Alternate head there. And we also have the Necro Sword, and just his height is just menacing. If you look at him compared to the standard 6-inch height Spider-Man, he's just huge, and it's awesome. It's just so cool. Definitely deserves a spot in the top 10. At number 4, I have Venom. Venom has had a great year this year. We've had plenty of Venom and symbiote related figures. In fact, I did a whole Venom video, which I'll link here. This one is not the one that came with Knull. This is actually a different one. The one that came with Knull had the wings, and this is the one that came with Agony and Riot. And to me, this is definitely one of the best Venoms that they've released so far. The body is huge. It's a great body size for him, but the thing that I really appreciate about this Venom the most is the head. This half Venomed out head, half Eddie Brock is just so well done, and the QC on this is really good too. I haven't seen very many complaints of this particular Venom having any paint problems, any parts problems, or anything like that. So they definitely did really good with this. And even the fully venomed head is really, really good too. Super long tongue, curling all the way around. I think it's great. At number 3, I have the Sorcerer Supreme Doctor Strange. This one had been a long time coming as well, and they did a fantastic job. The molding, the detail is awesome. Super happy with this. And not only that, but he came with just a bunch of accessories. So we have an axe. I'm actually not even sure what this is. Additional hands to hold those accessories, spell or energy effects, and then 2 alternate heads. Lots of accessories and a well done figure. At number 2, we have Cindy Moon, aka Silk. And this one was part of a 2-pack with Dr. Octopus. I have a whole video review. I'll link here. And this one is great because it's an updated body from the previous 2 releases. But I think what it really was is that it's not just that it's an updated body, but it's because the updated body kind of solidified that with the female characters moving forward, that they will be using the bicep swivel, and as well as the double jointed elbows. Because for so long, nearly every female character had just the single 90-degree bend and no bicep swivel, and that was it. They had just a handful of them that actually had just bicep swivel, and I don't know if those ones even had the double jointed arm either. So I'm just really glad that we're now able to have our female figures with the same level of articulation as our male figures. But then not only that, look at that detail on that. Even individual eyelashes you can see on there, which is just incredible. And finally, at the number 1 spot, we have Galactus. So clearly way too big to fit into my display. Okay, so I know not everybody, can really get Galactus, so that may not be totally fair, but my real number 1 is Cosmic Thor. And I was really excited for this one when they announced it, just because I think it's a great design, but also once I actually got it, just because I think they did such an amazing job with it too. And for me, the big thing is that the majority of MCU figures have always used this kind of textured feel to represent fabric, since the MCU is, real people, and, they don't have just like the flat costume comic look. And this is where this may not be the first one. I think it is, but even if it isn't, this was the first one that I really recognized that it does have it. And I think it's such a good look. Rather than it just being just a flat, smooth black, they went with the textured look. And I think that goes such a long way with how good this figure is. And then on top of that, just everything about it, right? I mean, again, these are all parts that for the most part, you won't be able to use on another figure. And as we all know, Hasbro likes to reuse stuff a lot. So the fact that they made this is kind of mind-boggling to me, because it's just another figure with parts that they probably can't reuse on other figures. And that makes 10, although really that's more like 11 if you count Galactus. But I really would like to know what your top 10 were, so please let me know in the comments below. And if you are in the market for more Marvel Legends figures and would like some guidance, then I've made a whole bunch of Marvel Legends buyer's guides videos right over here.